Here are the top stories of the news. General Sani Abacha, Chief of General Staff, Lieutenant General Oladipo Dia is dead. INEC to issue certificates of return to newly elected governors from Wednesday. On the foreign scene, President Vladimir Putin says Russia and China are not creating a military alliance. Good afternoon and welcome to Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. My name is Damilola Raphael. The former Chief of General Staff under the late Head of State, General Sani Abacha, Lieutenant General Oladipo Dia, is dead. His death was announced in a statement by his son, Oyesimilola Dia, this morning. He disclosed that the soldier-statesman passed away early this morning, adding further announcements will be made public in due course. Born on April 3, 1944 at Odogbolu in Ogun State, the former Chief of General Staff joined the Nigerian Defense Academy, Kaduna, and fought during the Nigerian Civil War. General Dia served as Chief of the General Staff under the military regime of late General Sani Abacha from 1994 until his arrest for treason in 1997. Meanwhile, the Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, has commiserated with the government and people of Nigeria on the passing away of soldier-statesman Lieutenant General Oladipo Dia. The governor, in a statement by his spokesperson, Kunle Shomori, described the departed Army General as a seasoned administrator. His contributions to the development of the security architecture of the country would remain indelible. The governor recalled that the deceased, apart from being a former de facto number 2 citizen in the country, was also a military governor in Ogun State. The governor noted that the general played frontline roles in the evolution and the development of the state, and his activities in the military, in part, led to the eventual return and enthronement of democracy in the country in 1999. Similarly, former Ogun State Governor Benga Daniel has mourned the death of Lieutenant General Oladipo Dia. General Dia died this morning, according to family sources. Shortly after his passage, Mr. Daniel, who is the senator-elect of the Ogun East District, described General Dia as an illustrious son of the state who played active roles in the affairs of the nation. Mr. Daniel, in a statement, said General Dia played his part as a military strategist during his time as Chief of General Staff, adding that his stabilizing role during the military era can never be forgotten. Moving on, the National Orientation Agency has begun a nationwide sensitization and advocacy to educate Nigerians about the forthcoming national population and housing census. Director General of the agency, Garba Abari, said this when he appeared on the News Agency of Nigeria Forum in Abuja this morning. He said that the sensitization is to enlighten the public about the importance of census toward national planning and development. Mr. Abari, who is a member of the National Publicity and Advocacy Committee for the Census, said the National Population Commission has an elaborate publicity in the media advocacy work plan that will definitely saturate the airwaves in the next few weeks, starting from today. He further appealed to the media, civil society organizations, religious and traditional leaders, as well as other stakeholders to sensitize the public about the exercise and encourage them to participate fully. To some political stories, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, said it will issue certificates of return to newly elected governors, deputy governors-elect, and state assembly members-elect from Wednesday to Friday. In a statement yesterday, INEC National Commissioner Festus Okoye said Section 72, Subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022 mandates the Commission to issue a certificate of return within 14 days to every candidate who has been returned elected under the law. He noted that in pursuance to the above provision, the Commission has fixed Wednesday 29th to Friday 31st March 2023 for the issuance of certificates to the newly elected officials. He revealed that the presentation will take place in INEC offices in each state of the Federation, adding that the specific dates for the issuance of the certificates will be communicated to those elected by their various state resident electoral commissioners. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has denied that a property was attacked in Bauchi State belongs to its chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. The commission made this known in a statement by the INEC chairman's chief press secretary, Rotimi Oyekomi. Mr. Oyekomi insisted that his principal does not own the property and the rumors are part of a desperate smear campaign. Elsewhere, the relationship between the Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi and the senator representing Enugu East Senatorial District, Chimaroke Nnamani, seems to have hit the wall. In a series of tweets early this morning, Senator Nnamani described Governor Ugwuanyi as an epitome of shame for twice losing his polling booth in the recently concluded elections. Senator Nnamani, a former state governor, had doubled on the attack against the governor after losing his seat to Calvin Chukwu of the Labour Party in the just concluded general election. He has blamed the governor as being responsible for his defeat. To security matters, the Department of State Services, DSS, has warned politicians to desist from peddling hate speech and all forms of false narratives to ignite violence or pit citizens against the President Muhammadu Buhari government or the incoming administration of the President-elect Bola Tinubu. The DSS spokesman Peter Afunaya, in a statement yesterday, said violence will consume politicians, inciting the breakdown of law and order. The secret police warning followed a petition by the Minister of State for Labour and Productivity, Festus Keyamo, as the DSS invites the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi and his running mate Dati Baba Ahmed over their rejection of Mr. Tinubu as the president-elect. Mr. Afunaya revealed that there are plans to violently disrupt the peace in the country and warned those desperate to cause a breakdown of law and order to desist from it. Politicians are to desist from hate speech. In Zamfara State, gunmen have kidnapped Lukman Ibrahim, special advisor to the state governor Bello Matawale in the Mareri district of Gusau, the state capital. According to Ibrahim's son, Maji Ibrahim, his father was kidnapped yesterday morning. He explained that his father was in the house when the kidnappers entered their compound through the fence. According to him, the incident was reported to the police immediately. You're watching Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. We will be right back after this break.
War, also known as Ekiti-Parapa War, was waged among Yoruba main ethnic groups which emerged from the ruins of the falling Oyo Empire that were desperate to replace the awesome powers hitherto wielded by the Alaafin of Oyo. The Kiriji War is defined as a conflict of confederacy and unitary political system championed by Yorubas of different socio-economic and political interests. The Ibadan military aristocrats felt they deserved a dominant position for saving Yoruba land from being totally submerged by the Fulanis by their victory in Oshobo War of 1840 and Ijaye War of 1862. Kiriji War, that took its name from the booming motor sounds of European arms, festered for so long because the Industrial Revolution in Europe provoked high standards of slaves. The 16-year Civil War also caused the emergence of new powerful kingdoms like Ibadan and the rise of powerful personalities like Oluyole, Ogunmola, Komi, Latosha, Shodeke, Fabumi, and Ogedengbe, one of the fallouts of Kiriji War was the birth of creative political and leadership structure in Yoruba land that was a blend of federalism and the autocratic monarchical system. Western Spring Television identifies Kiriji War as a watershed event. Samuel Ladoke Akintola was a frontal figure in the historical moves that birthed an independent Nigeria from colonial Britain. As a freedom activist, he deployed his wits, energy, intellect, and oratory skills to prepare the grounds for constitutional talks that eventually culminated in the country's independence in 1960. The 13th Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land cut his teeth as a politician when he became a foundation member of Action Group, the dominant political party in the Western region, and was elected the party's parliamentary leader of opposition at the Federal House of Representatives. The crisis in the Action Group, which pitched Samuel Ladoke Akintola against his leader, was not only a sour point in his colorful political life, but a reversal of gains which characterized the exemplary leadership of Awolowo Akintola premiership. 23 years after his death, Oyo State University of Technology of Ogbomoso was renamed Samuel Ladoke Akintola University of Technology to keep his memory alive. Western Spring Television identifies Samuel Ladoke Akintola as a major character in history. The Korean War of 1950 to 1953 pitched North and South Korea against each other in response to intrigues by nations beyond their border with different interests from those canvassed by the two brother nations. The Korean War had all the nuances of an external conflict induced by powers that were interested in subjugating North and South Korea. Japan had leveraged on its military power to annex Korea in 1900 and imposed a military union that did not sit well with the citizens. Japan not only lost its war of conquest against Korea, all its powers were obliterated by the effect of the World War II. The end of World War II got Korea divided into two nations along 38th parallel lines by the instrumentality of the United States of America and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. The Korean War lapsed into a Cold War when it stopped the prying eyes of external forces into the internal affairs of a nation now divided along its north and southern territories. Western Spring Television identifies the Korean War as a major event in history.
Welcome back. The Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has called on his co-contestants in the March 18 governorship election to join hands with him to move the state to greater heights. Governor Makinde made the call during a radio program in Ibadan, the state capital, yesterday, noting that everyone must join hands together in the interests of the state. The governor disclosed that he would be open to working with the ideas of his co-contestants wherever they were found to be superior to his. The governor further promised to continue to deliver quality projects that will touch all sectors of the state, stressing that he would continue to build on the solid foundation already laid in the last 4 years. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has condemned the persistent aversion to people of southeastern extraction, which he describes as Igbophobia. Speaking at an event in Anambra State to commemorate Governor Chukwuma Soludo's 1 year in office, former President Obasanjo recalled his work with the Professor of Economics, as well as the current Director General of the World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. In Obasanjo's administration, which spanned 1999 to 2007, Governor Soludo served as the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, while Dr. Okonjo-Iweala was the Minister of Finance. The former president stated that Governor Soludo, who worked closely with him as an economic advisor, never misadvised him, and the economist's performance impressed him so much so that he was asked to lead the Apex Bank. In the build-up to the general election, there were reported cases of ethnic profiling against the Igbo in some parts of the country.
One location, soon after I appointed him, somebody came to me and said, "Wow, you have ruined the economy of Nigeria." I said, "How?" He said, "An Igbo woman, Minister of Finance, an Igbo man, Governor of Central Bank. Then you have really completed the task of running the economy of Nigeria." Now, I don't know why he said that, except for what I can call Igbophobia. And don't take that lightly. It remains, it persists. And I like what Chief Enwayamu said. I believe on the 13th of January, 1970, Biafra died and was buried, actually in the house.
In the meantime, the Chairman, Council of Elders, Ohaneze Ndigbo, Chief Emmanuel Onwayaro, has condemned individuals described as political rascals for the ethnically charged rhetoric against the Igbo in Lagos State. In the midst of the elections, particularly last Saturday's governorship election, incendiary remarks led to targeted attacks on voters of southeastern extraction. Chief Onwayaro spoke yesterday at a ceremony in Anambra State to commemorate Governor Chukwuma Soludo's 1 year in office. The Igbo elder stated that he convened a meeting of the Ohaneze Council of Elders worldwide, who x-rayed the events in Lagos during the meeting held on Wednesday.
That on Wednesday, I called a meeting of Ohaneze Council of Elders worldwide, and we x-rayed the events in Lagos. And I want to tell you that we have people who attended the branches in America, in Canada, in Europe, in London, and Nigeria. We have resolved, and I want those from Lagos to go home and tell those in Lagos, we have resolved that never again can we allow anybody to take the life of any innocent Igbo person. All of us are going to fight the person. We are going to fight the person. Never again. We are in Nigeria and we have invested in Nigeria. Our investments are so much. We are not going to take the question of people telling us to go. We are not going anywhere. And I want to tell those in Lagos to realize that there is no war between us and Yorubas. Yorubas they are just political rascals, and we are going to handle them. The elders have directed Secretary General of Ohaneze Ndigbo, Emuche, to set up a commission of inquiry to find out things destroyed. People are going to pay. Meanwhile, I want to say I thank you for this opportunity.
The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps says it will investigate the alleged harassment of Port Harcourt Electrical Distribution Company staff members by some personnel of the Corps. The NSCDC Director of Public Relations, Olushola Odumosu, made this known in a statement this morning in Abuja. Mr. Odumosu revealed that the Corps management received report that men of the NSCDC River State Command allegedly harassed some staff members of the PHED Rumola in Port Harcourt, River State. He said the NSCDC Commandant General Ahmed Aoudi has ordered a full-scale investigation with a view to appropriately instilling the right disciplinary actions on officers found culpable. Moving on to the foreign scene now, Russian President Vladimir Putin says Moscow and China are not creating any form of military alliance. President Putin made this known in a televised interview broadcast this morning, stating that the two countries' military cooperation was transparent. President Putin further accused Western powers of building a new axis bearing some resemblance to Germany and Japan's World War II alliance. Moscow and Beijing have enjoyed a closer relationship since Russia's invasion of Ukraine left it sidelined by Western nations. In the United States, at least 23 people have died as violent storms and at least one tornado ripped through the state of Mississippi, tearing off roofs and flattening neighborhoods. The Southern States Emergency Management Agency said at least 4 people were missing and dozens were injured, while tens of thousands of people in Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee were without power. Governor Tate Reeves, in a post on Twitter, confirmed the death toll, noting that search and rescue teams are still active. Also confirming the death toll, the Emergency Management Agency cautioned that the numbers are expected to change. And talking sports, Gareth Southgate will not call up new players for England's Euro 2024 qualifier against Ukraine later today. The England manager has only 21 players to choose from, with left-back Luke Shaw suspended and right-back Reece James withdrawing with an injury. There had been concerns over the fitness of Jordan Henderson, Jude Bellingham and Calvin Phillips, but Southgate says all 3 are available. Southgate stated that he has just about enough to get through the game. The 52-year-old said the players have been training all week. To call somebody from the outside would be potentially quite complicated.
We've been training with this group all week. To call somebody from the outside would be potentially quite complicated. You've no idea where they might be, what their training load has been over the last few days. So if we were going to do that at this point, we'd do it with the under-21s. But they've got a game today, and we think we've just about got enough to get through the game.
Into club football, Qatari Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani has submitted a new bid to buy Manchester United. According to UK media reports, the chairman of Qatar Islamic Bank placed a second-round offer overnight. The offer is believed to be worth about £5 billion. British billionaire Jim Ratcliffe had on Thursday submitted a revised bid as Finnish entrepreneur Thomas Ziliakos enters the race to own the Old Trafford club. Ziliakos entered the race on Thursday with a bid that he said would give fans the chance to own 50% of the club. And before we end the news, here is a recap of our top stories. The former Chief of General Staff under the late Head of State, General Sani Abacha, Lieutenant General Oladipo Dia, is dead. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, said it will issue certificates of return to newly elected governors, deputy governors-elect, and state assembly members-elect from Wednesday to Friday. And on the foreign scene, we brought you reports that Russian President Vladimir Putin says Moscow and China are not creating any form of military alliance. You can follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Western Spring Television. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. That ends Spring News at 12. I am Damilola Raphael. Thanks for watching. Happy New Week.